I personally got a telephone call from Mel Fisher. And Mel said there's a meeting on Wayne Road.
We're going to start a temple in the park. So I said, okay, great.
It was at the Weiner house that Alex Schindler attended.
Rabbi Schindler, who was at that time was in charge of the Hebrew congregations in New England.
And there were about 10 families that had to have a place for their children to go to school, to go to Hebrew school. I think many of us were a little bit miffed because of the fact that he was a Reform rabbi.
For my husband, he came from a conservative background.
Because I was brought up Orthodox.
He indicated what his point of view was with respect to Reform. I went from very, very traditional to Reform in about 8 seconds.
Over a short period of time, he said, well, if you're interested, he says, we can start a congregation. We pretty much agreed that we would like to start it. He sort of made a blessing. We stood and we had a temple. There was no name to it at the point in time, but it was a temple with the Henry Lessig thought he named it, so we gave him the credit for it. And the Beth Avodah was the name that was agreed upon by everybody. Rabbi Schindler did the first service. Second one we had was in the Newton Center Women's Club. First High Holy Day service we had Rabbi Jerry Davidson.
Then we found out the land here was available for sale. Well, it's going to be $75,000. Well, needless to say, none of us had that kind of money. Yep, Steve. I said, what do you want? I said, we want to borrow $75,000. He said, what do you got for security? And we all said we had our wives and our children. He said, you got it.
I said, Mel, we can't sign this note, I'm afraid. I know we don't have any money. He says, trust me. We have to have a place where the kids can be brought up, Jewish. We want them to have a good background.
We want to start a little choir. So I said, all right. And we got together. I guess there could have been almost 10 of us. And I took everybody in.
It was exciting, and it was a young temple.
I said, Mel, I can't afford to join right now. He says, what do you care? You come along, you'll come, you'll go, and you'll work with us at everything. So that's what happened.
Everyone was trying to do something and knowing that it was the beginning. And you felt, I guess, sort of in a way, a pioneer spirit.
I mean, it was just, we didn't know how to arrange it. It was so new to everybody.
We worked like dogs all the time,
We cleaned, we painted, we washed.
The people became enthusiastic about the temple.
The schoolhouse, it was so primitive. It was a campground.
We all painted, several men painted the schoolhouse. And we said we're painting God's house.
They did very well because everybody enjoyed the temple.
It was a small group, became very close friends. We did everything here.
And it was a wonderful feeling of spirit in the temple. I remember our first Sukkot. 2 men built a Sukkot.
Drove my van right out into the cornfields and pulled out the stalks for we'd have a corn stalk for the Sukkies and everything.
And then the women came and decorated it.
Then we had Rabbi Bloomstone, who came from Canada. And he was the first rabbi.
Rabbi Bloomstone brought a very interesting spirit, and people liked what was going on here. The Temple in the Woods.
So the next rabbi was Rabbi Malin. He wasn't here for too long.
Rabbi Malin was a scholar, but he didn't have quite the warmth and feeling that Rabbi Miller brought. And when Rabbi Miller came, the temple changed a great deal for the better.
He brought so many people.
I'd like to mention is the fact is that Rabbi Miller brought a lot of attention to Beth Avodah. He was able to relate to the rest of the community, and that was really a great thing.
Rabbi Stern was really admired, and of course, we all fell in love with him. He and Rabbi Miller got along fine.
But I want to tell you something about the guy who followed me. He is the personification of Menschlichkeit. I consider to be the highest form of Jewish existence.
The temple gave me an opportunity to do something that I never had previously had the courage to do.
But it's all difference in the world,
Never had previously had the courage to do.
It made a mensch out of me.
Never had previously had the courage to do.
It made a mensch out of me.
Shalom Israel. 50th anniversary is a big deal. If you get to 50th, it means that you've been doing something right.
I won't give up if you don't give up. I won't give up if you don't give up. 'Cause I need a sign to let me know you're here. My 2 cents just keeps it all from being clear. I need a reason for the way things have to be. And I need a hand to help me look some kind of hope inside of me. Candles burn in the window on this Friday night. This must be the reflection, the heart of our life. We're singing together joyfully, passing love along. Love is my family.
Along comes Sybil into this, and she says, I want to make a play. And we look at her. Sybil, you know what's going on here? A play?
It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Sad and treated, we get tricked. Sad and get sent, we get kicked. It's a hard knock life. He gave our toe, he gave our toe. Umanai, umanai. Shepherd Afi, Shepherd Afi, come down. Let's do one more time, everybody. He made my toe, he made my toe. Umanai, umanai. Shepherd Afi, Shepherd Afi, come down. Let's do it one more time with music, no singing, just our hands. See if we can do it. Here we go. Very happy. Everybody. As we travel along the path of our lives, it's the people we meet who can change us. If we are willing to see, truly open our eyes, find the song that binds us together. We're going to do a great ending, voices and hands. He gave our toe, he gave our toe. Umanai, umanai. Shepherd Afi, Shepherd Afi, come
To all of you who are here, long time, new, visiting guests, friends, it's an honor to have you here, and I hope you feel as I do, inspired by Rabbi Jacobs' challenge to us to open the doors wider, for us to go out the doors and bring people